say, well, there it is. Well, thank you everyone for joining a Frankie 411 podcast live version. I am here with Lonnee Rey, Queen Lonnee Rey, my new bestie. How you doing?
Outstanding, but I'm trying to get better, you know.
Oh man, I'm with you, right?
I was
It's never
outstanding in
enough.
the rain.
Outstanding in the rain. I love standing in the
Yes.
rain. That's one of my favorite things. So that works. That's on brand. That works for both of us. So happy for you to be here and join us and talk about your Rattled Awake series. And thank you for your patience with my listen. I'm kind of new to this live from the Streamyard world situation. So we appreciate everyone's patience in advance as we were, we'll get it. It'll be fine. But let's talk about the things that you already do super duper well, which is your Rattled Awake series. And I know you're on number 8 right now that's come out, correct?
8 of them have been published. Yep. And 9 comes out soon. So
9 comes out soon. So tell me your Rattled Awake story. Tell me what was your Rattled Awake moment that got you started?
It was diving into some really deep rabbit holes that I didn't know existed. Basically, it felt like falling into potholes built for a family of 10. And
Oh, well, that's
kind of
fun.
like going, wow, I didn't know this was here. And it wasn't always such great information, like, coming up with dirt on my face and shoulders going, wow, that's really
Well,
not good stuff.
but you got to
You
go
know?
down the rabbit hole to find that out. You don't know until you get in there.
It's true. It's true. And so it was a gigantic red pill. And then I wrote a book about it, sort of, called How to Deal with a Dumbass, What to Do and Say When They Come Your Way. That was
I
my
love.
you listen,
Don't we
it's
all
the
need
book
advice on how to deal with that? We absolutely do.
well, I mean, like, I was ignorance is bliss, okay?
This is true.
I had no idea what I didn't know, and then I was looking at things that we have no control over on the global stage, and I was like, okay, okay, became the 2-word solution to all this stupid stuff I was seeing. Like, we can't fix that, but
Nope.
locally we can, think global, act local, and
Mm-hmm.
so I wrote that book, and it's a field guide to dealing with people that kind of disappoint you or whatever, how to recognize them, kind of like X-ray vision around the
To get your
corner. Like,
Spidey senses a little bit, right?
yeah, it's the book I wish I had.
Good.
But
I wish I
yeah,
had an instruction manual for how to deal with that crap. Yeah, uh-huh.
yeah. So that's what it is. Our brother Jeff, he read that book overnight, and said it helped him tremendously. It helped a guy leave a dangerous cult in Norway. It's had remarkable results. So I'm
Well,
really
look at
happy
you
with
just saving lives in Norway. That's pretty fantastic.
it, right? Right? So who knew, right?
Fascinating.
So I was talking to a friend one day, as you do, and I said, surely I'm not the only one that's been rattled awake over all that's going on. And he said, good title. I said, yeah, I wish I thought of it sooner. And in a minute, we had a .com, and yeah, that's how Rattled Awake was born.
See, and I
It,
love that about you, that you'll just jump right on the train and say, let's go, let's fly, let's see what happens. Because that's very my personality. And I feel like I need more of those people in my life that just say, yeah, hell yeah, let's just try it and see what happens. I mean, why not? You
absolutely.
may as well.
Absolutely. And I have to take my own workshop, Haleigh. Or do I call you Frankie? I don't know.
You know what? We're floating around with a lot of different versions of me right now. So,
I got a lot of
go with
names.
Frankie. Yeah, I do. So, you know what? I'll answer to all of them.
Okay, fine.
Whichever
This is
one you
funny.
say is the one that I will respond as. So if you want to talk to a particular version of me, just ask, and I'm happy to bring them in. And that's who you get to talk to. So if you want to
That's my
talk to Bernie, who I've recently discovered is from Georgia, I can certainly bring her out. If you would prefer to talk to her, I'm fine with that.
It's awesome. I love to have options.
Right?
It's like the wheel, spin the
Variety is
wheel
the
on the
spice of life.
personalities.
You know what? That's actually a great idea. You know how people have those chore wheels on the
Yes.
little, and you push a button? I need to have, these are all my personalities. Who am I going to be today? This is who you are today. All right. That's what we're going with.
Yeah,
I love it.
might as well. Full on self-expression. Why not? Yeah.
I'm for it.
And all it takes, It's somebody else to open the dance floors. That's what I call it. Like, we've all been at a wedding and, tapping our feet, the band's kicking up and like somebody go dance first. And then I call it opening the dance floor for everybody else. And it's just because we like to dance. And I love the way
I love that.
you groove through life and that full on self-expression, live out loud.
I love it, and I like
action.
that. I really like that the analogy there because that is kind of what I like about, again, the podcasting stuff, right? Like you're opening the dance floor, everybody come in and play. Let's have fun together. It's going to be a good time.
Yep.
Build that community yourself if it doesn't already exist in the way that you want it to, right?
Yeah, and it gives people permission to be a little bit more themselves when you are. And the ones that don't dig it, they can go dig over there. That's okay.
Yeah, right. There's other stuff for you. Guess what? More options elsewhere.
Yeah. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. That's
right?
what I was taught. But here's the thing. Here's the cool thing about Rattled Awake is, and I've been a ghostwriter. I've helped many self-help authors to write books. I wrote my own mini memoir in 5 days.
Which is the thing that you and I need to talk about because like I got so many book ideas like right up here that if I could just sit down with Lonnee Rey, I'd probably be able to get 6 of them punched out, but we'll get there.
No doubt. I have no doubt that you will too. And, series, what you want to have is somebody who can see down the road around the corner, who knows what's ahead for you. And you're super knowledgeable, but I love that you're open and like, what else can I learn? How else could it be?
Oh, I have that. That's that girl ADHD where I'm looking for all the different crafts and hobbies on Pinterest. What's the new skill that I can learn? I already figured that one out kind of, but now I'm bored. Let's go do something else.
That's awesome. So I learned that, in addition to all that experience that I had, especially story development and content strategy, because I have a marketing mind, right? It was like, how do we engineer celebrity? How do we back up from the end and make things work for this person's business?
Reverse engineering.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well, it took somebody else coming along and saying, well, think about it. You can write an article in a weekend. And so I was like, yeah. He said, so frame it over the last 5 years. What is a significant change that happened for you? And how did you become better, not bitter? What action did you take? What's your new perspective? And share that, because that process, those steps, that or oh crap moment, then you pivot for the positive, make something good come out of it. As one of my clients used to say, spinning hay into gold. And that's all we're doing here in Rattled Awake is sharing those stories, and they're wildly diverse, but the theme is the same and the answer is the same. So over the last 5 years, pick something, right? I've written 8 chapters so far, and for obviously 8 books,
right?
And it covers everything from transformational, personal oh-ohs and oh no's to issues that I feel are very important for all of us to know. Like, for instance, that food processing plants, 2,000 of them are mysteriously burned and they're not coming back.
Some really very, like, there's another whole rabbit hole that we could go down to if you want to, just for funsies, but no, continue.
That's it. It really, so what I like to do is keep the dance floor open so that people can bring any story to the table. And I always have these conversations first. So by the time we all get together in the workshop, it's super fun. I already know their mission, their message, introduce them, and we're a cohesive unit in a matter of a couple of hours. And it's just, we link arms and collaborate, and it's amazing.
I really love it. So here's just this idea that's coming to me. Let's just talk about it for just a hot second, see what you think.
Okay.
So you do these stories that are, people's true life stories, right? That are things they've been through, because it makes it relatable for other folks that are, again, looking for that. How do I turn this negative into a positive? How do I see this? What's wrong with me as a superpower kind of thing, right? How would you feel about maybe what would you call it? The sort of the fictionalized Rattled Awake. Like, what if you start bringing people together to like, okay, here's your story that you could tell, or even the ones that you've already done. How do you create a fictional story with fictional characters around this theme, this idea, this concept, and play this out maybe in a different way or perspective? Sorry, just a thought idea that's coming to me right now. Neuro Spicy has to talk it out loud. There it is.
So I'm okay with that. Let's spin the wheel, Neuro and Spicy.
Right? Like, let's spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Just throw a dart at the board and see what you get.
So the cool thing about what you just proposed, sort of, is hey, nice,
Love it.
cool.
Yeah.
We got people. Hey,
We got people. Hey, you doing? Hi.
Thanks.
Sorry, go for it.
So the cool thing about your idea is that everything starts with imagination, and at first it might seem like it's fictional, but if we can think it, it can be. And so I've been talking with a friend who wants to write a book. He what does he call it? 2033 or something. And writing it from a future perspective on how we fixed what's going on right now.
I love this. This is Neville Goddard, dwell in the end, create the end you prefer to see, write it, and it shall be.
And exactly. And we want it to be a live wall where people can come and add their ideas to what this would, what we could do that could make things even better.
Okay, I love this. You start a wall of this, however you're going to do it, build a like online version of it. Here's this is create the fictional version of the lesson you learned out of a difficult thing. They're on board with it. The audience loves it. It's going to be great already. You create that board though, right? And you have like the fictional stories, and then I don't know how this is going to happen. We'll pull this in from the Tongerverse, right? Then you're going to have it as an animated series on YouTube. So it'll be like an animated little mini episode fictional series where you get to like, again, address those kind of like difficult rattled awake moment concepts, but in an entertaining sort of way that is easily accessible for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And it's organic and it's always evolving, and why not? Sky's not even the limit when you go there. So
no, the infinite cosmos is the limit, and that means there isn't any limit. And isn't that exciting and fun? I like this. I can't wait to be a part of this somehow, some way, because I'm going to weasel my way in there and start having fun and playing with you. Let's go down some rabbit holes together.
Okay. Cue the rabbit hole sound.
I know, right? Like, where's that? We got to go find the Mad Hatter, because I need me like an awesome hat with some feathers and crazy stuff coming out the side. So that
absolutely.
That'll be a character that I need to have in one of my stories for sure.
I'm pretty excited. Speaking of hats, I need a bigger hat for this big feather that's coming in on one of the Rattled Awake Volume 9 authors is an 8-time best-selling author, and he has created fiction books that are informed by his family's health experience of dementia, and he's scared to death it's going to be his too. And so a lot of
listen, this is already just a transitional thing into what we were just talking about. Look you're already planting that seed, and I love this.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Rick Corvia is the author, and and Rick's got an imagination that doesn't quit. That's why I think it would be a perfect addition for you to be in.
I'm on it. Let's go. I am. I will get us some kind of story coming from out in the stars that we can incorporate somehow, some way. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have you. And this is the thing about collaboration is we don't know whose network's gonna bring what to whom, and like I love
blending it all together, mixing it all up in some cool crazy gumbo. I love it.
Yeah. So there's Rick, and he's got his life, and I love gumbo. I got distracted by food.
I love gumbo. That's okay. That's on brand for Frankie to get distracted by food. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh goodness, girl. So anyway, he's got raving fans, and they relate to fictional characters where the main character quite often ends up in a place in life where he doesn't know how he got there. It's the memory loss. It's the who am I, and it's the redefining, and it's so his entire life has informed his writing, and he's just a beautiful man. And I'm so excited that what we can do is bring attention to this thing that's happening for a lot of people, memory loss of some sort, whether it's Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever. And he's doing it in in a
See,
fun,
this is
light.
already sort of a very interesting concept to me because my brain's kicking off into this, like, you know, making a story that goes along the lines of someone who has a positive mindset on a dementia sort of, what we're going to call it, some kind of an interdimensional dementia, right? Where like they enjoy the fact that they don't remember anything ever because it means they're always in the present moment and always surprised by things that are coming, and they don't have any other choice but to be in a positive mindset and be ready for good things to come. Right? Like,
Well, that's one way to look at it.
I mean, but this is the fun. Like, you get to meet new people every day, all the time, because you forget them in 5 minutes, and it's fun meeting new people. So there you go, right? Like, but
Yeah, absolutely.
that, like, being in the present moment because there's nowhere else for me to be. I can't remember the past.
You know, I call that vacation mindset, Frankie. That
I
is,
like it. Tell me more about that.
yeah, vacation mindset is, you know how you go to a new town and you're not thinking about the grocery store down the street at your house. You're in a brand new town. You've got wide open eyes and ears, and everything's fresh. So that's the challenge, is to have a routine of a life and still see it like it's brand new every day. That's what I call vacation mindset. And
I
so,
like that. That's definitely very fun. I'm going to borrow that from you, Queen Lonnee Rey.
Okay, you can do that.
I'm going to borrow that.
Yeah, and it goes with the same concept you're talking about, which is to stay present. And at the same time, we're informed because of who, you know, you live this many years in life, you're going to have experience that's going to inform your next step. So,
yeah. Look at D. And again, already have the audience just ready and loving it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Actually, just to parlay on that comment about
Bring it back up then.
Families, sounds like a great book that would help families of those who have loved ones with dementia. Absolutely. And I've got my fingers crossed that gal who's been a caregiver for dementia patients and family will be doing a chapter, because I think the crossover and
so I
will be awesome.
Who'd have thought that I have things to offer to yet another little fun thing that you're doing? So I actually worked in a nursing home when I was in high school. That was my job, like from when I was 15 to when I was 18. I was a CNA in a nursing home.
Wow.
Yeah, so I saw a lot of that, and there was a woman who had Alzheimer's in there who thought I was her daughter and would constantly call me Alma, and would ask, like, so she used to be the baker in town. She was, you know, like, that was her thing back in the day. Like, she ran the bakery and her daughter helped her at the bakery. So she was always asking me, like, we need however many eggs, and we need flour, and we need this, whatever, right? And like all the other nurses' aides in there were kind of sticks in the mud and would try to like redirect her to the, you know, that she's not here or whatever, that kind of thing. I didn't. I would just play along and just be like, okay, yeah, I'll go get those and I'll be right back with that. And do we need anything else? Kind of like, whatever. Just go with it. Just roll with it. If she thinks that's who I am, fine. That's good.
Yeah, I love that. That's an improv. That's improv right there. Yes, and
that was me in the nursing home with all of them for 100%. Great material for, you know, a comedy stand-up show for sure.
No doubt. No doubt. But that yes and is such a great way to look at what's going on. That's what okay really was. And it's not tolerance. Like, it's some things aren't okay that are going on. They're not. But when we accept what is for how it shows up, what is what shows up. What you make of it's up to you. It is what it is, and it is what it ain't. Okay allows it to kind of roll past you, so you're kind of like Teflon instead of Velcro, where everything will stick to you because you're like, that's not okay. It's really not okay. You know what I mean? Like,
always, my dad's version of that was to be like a duck and let the water roll off your back. So that was Dad's vibe a little bit.
It's a great way to be. My father wasn't anything like that, so I really appreciate that.
No, it's okay. I had a yin and yang experience with my parents as well, so don't worry. The flip side of that was my mother's personality. There was a balance. There was a balance to all that too. Don't worry. My personality don't come from nowhere. You know how that is.
It was carefully cultivated.
Yeah. My First Nations grandpa had dementia, and he would point out the window and say, "Got to go hunt that moose." You know what? And you just say, "Go on ahead and go hunt that moose. That's a heck of a moose to choose to hunt. Good for you."
Oh,
just that. You know, I mean, because sometimes you got to think those things that they're gravitating to, even though they're not things that are happening, if it's something that is maybe a joyful moment for them, maybe just let them have that. If
I
they're going
agree.
back and sliding back into something that was enjoyable, like running the bakery back in the day, like let them have that. Why not?
Yeah, I agree. No harm, no foul. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And if they're not going to remember later anyway, what's the difference? You may as well just be nice about it.
So true. Yeah, so true. So
I
yeah,
love it.
Rattled
Okay,
Awake is bringing all kinds of wonderful people to the forefront, and um, I'm excited what happens for the authors, and it's hard to measure what's happening for the readers that they're touching. So
well, and
um,
that's the big thing that I think too when it comes to sharing out whatever your stuff is creatively, that you never know who it is you're going to reach, and you never know who it is that needs, your voice, your flavor, your take on things, right? Like, because it's kind of how, you talk about, and this is something that I've talked about with other friends about, like, channelers, for example, or different, spiritual messages. Like they all have the same basis. They all have the same sort of like, just do the things that make you happy. That's like this whole human experience is operated the most by your emotions and what you feel like. Just do the things that make you happy, right? Like that's always the message. But it has to be said by so many different people. It has to be repeated in so many different ways, because not everyone has the capacity to hear a message from one person the way that they'll hear it from someone else. Like your voice is always important in the mix, because you never know who it is that's going to connect to your voice more than any of the rest of it.
it's so true. You look at Abraham Hicks or Goddard,
Mm-hmm.
and their message just never changes, and there's
Right.
always somebody new who wants to hear it, or needs to hear it. And that's the thing is, you the thing that you think is so average, not you, but the thing that
Average,
most
no,
people
yeah,
think is
yeah. Average for
really
me is
average,
going to be just like wackadoodle for everybody else. It's totally
and that's
fine,
normal for you. It's just not average.
right?
Um,
Yeah.
but it's so funny. I spent so many years trying to untie all these knots from my upbringing and remake who I am. And very left-brained. In fact, there was a time when people, and it wasn't a compliment. Yeah, you should be a lawyer, and it's because I was argumentative, and I wanted proof. I really, really like explain
Don't
shit
you?
to me. Explain it.
This is another reason why you and I get along so very well, because very frequently the things people compliment me on are the things that I think, yeah, but that's not what I want to be good at. So I
Yeah,
feel that vibe quite a lot. So go ahead and say more on that, because I'm with you.
yeah. No, so I heard that I didn't like it. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, noted, and it becomes part of the checklist for reinvention of one's persona, which is
The
completely possible.
rebranding, select a new avatar.
Completely. Yeah, and see, we do get to choose, so that's cool. Um, delete the
And
need to understand is something that I say now, which is so ironic considering how much I was
why do you
in a
not
life.
have a t-shirt on Rattled Awake that you're selling that says that? You need a whole merch line.
I think
We need
that's
to
a
talk
great
about
idea.
this. That's all I do all day is like, that needs to be on a t-shirt. That needs to be on a mug. We need to get you some merch going, Lonnee Rey.
I'm totally down for that, girl. Totally.
We got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I didn't think anything of it, quite honestly. But what I was noticing is every time I said it, people were like, "Oh, I like that one," because I've got a bunch of one-liners, right?
I
One-liners for
know,
life.
but that's one of them that I wrote down. I know from the last time that we talked. Delete the need to
See?
understand, right? And
Yeah,
it is true, because the need to understand sometimes leads you into a lot of uncertainty and the lack of clarity or the confusion, right? Just that sometimes it's a bit of that, just digging and looking for something makes it so that there is something to dig for.
it doesn't change anything either. So, but
Right.
it's
You
just
are
like,
where you
okay,
are, right? Until such time as new information is brought to your attention, this is what it is.
yeah. Yeah, and let's move into like typical things. Like Laura was a friend of mine, and she rarely could she get out of the house. And when she did, boyfriend Roy wouldn't leave her alone. He's just totally psycho. He would call in 15 minutes and say she'd been gone for an hour, and she'd get on the phone, sitting here with me, yelling with Roy back and forth, and then ask me to take her home. And why doesn't he act like he used to? And why this? Why? I said, Laura, you're not going to change his ways. He enjoys pushing your buttons. He enjoys being a jerk. And there's a
And
value in jerks.
some people do. And well, but there is, and say more about that.
Well, I said, hun, just even if you did understand that mindset, it wouldn't matter. It's not going to change
That's
him.
still the consciousness that he's in, and that's not for you to remove him from that. Only he can do that.
Right. So the next step is, do I want more of this or less of this? Survey says less.
Survey says, love it.
Right? Yes. Move your feet accordingly, girl. But she couldn't. She wouldn't. She was like, so that's the R of the word aware. Is in being a dumbass is a repeat offender, and we've all been repeat offenders where we've allowed someone, keep giving them a hall pass, and they become repeat offenders. And then it's like,
do you know what my problem is with the repeat offenders is that the repeat offenders tend to be voices in my head that are like, no, we got rid of that program already. I don't know what you think you're doing trying to run that stuff again. That was deleted. Like, what is that? But it does pop up now, right? Like somebody didn't get the memo and tried to come back into work and like, sorry, demons, but that job has been like replaced and obsolete now. You can leave. Like, peace out, bro. Yeah.
See you later. Not really.
See you later. No, not really. But again, that's the thing about this human experience too, right? There are some lessons that you kind of have to revisit and learn again sometimes. That it's an annoying part of it, but it is certainly a part of it, right? That you just kind of have to. What are some of your methods on that when you kind of get into another rabbit hole that you think, I've been here before, we've done this before, and how do you get yourself out of it in a new way that maybe helps you to not fall in it again?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know that I have an answer. And that
well, you know what, that's honest and authentic, and I appreciate you for that, because I don't have an answer either.
I look, a long time ago somebody said this, and it's in many of my books, which is I don't know is the beginning of new possibilities. And I think it's, and I'm not flattering myself when I say this, I think it's a sign of wisdom for someone who says, I don't freaking know, but I'm willing to learn.
That's the space I've been in just recently, that I'm like, you know what, I'm curious. That's what I'll say. I don't have the answers. I'm tired of the chasing after the answers, looking for the answers. I'm just curious. I'm just curious what's possible, what's available, what could come. And I'll just sit here and be curious about what might come. And I'll just keep doing the best I can in the meantime, because that's all I can really do anyway.
It is all we can do. And I'm going to take this opportunity to throw this in there. I recently, it's been nice to get feedback with Rattled Awake, with the incredible people that have shown up or feel attracted to the program and the experience of being published in a week, and it's wonderful, all those things. And then there's others experiences that aren't so hot, and I gotta say this:
you can't avoid it, no matter how much you want to.
So what I'm going to say is, I no sooner take credit for people that are good people than I will the ones that aren't. It is, and for those that are very quick to say, you're attracting all of this, I'm going to say, actually, no. Actually, I'm not the one. I said, people will do what they do no matter who you are to them. It's not your responsibility. You can't control everybody. What you can do is be responsible for your response. That's about it. Right. Responsibility.
Right. Well, that's what it is. We're all our own little universe bubbles, right? And this is the one you can control. And so if you can't control this other, you can co-create together, right? But really, at the end of the day, you can't make them see whatever your thing is if it's just not matching up. And you just kind of have to let that go and let them co-create with a different bubble then, right?
Yeah, there's absolutely. However, it's often too late once you've got someone in your world. It's like you didn't see that. The wrapper says this, but the ingredients are this. And
you didn't. Yeah, you didn't realize you were going to have an allergic reaction because you didn't read the ingredients on the label.
Thought it was organic. It turned out to be GMO. Just saying. And so that
And
happens.
sometimes you have that, or sometimes that label is, completely purposefully made to be misleading, right? Sometimes that label is false advertising and
Yeah.
fell for it anyway. Damn it.
I just really want people to, I tend to be the poster child for what not to do. Like when people first read my
Well,
dumbass
you
book.
know what, Lonnee Rey, somebody needs to be, and we thank you for being that guinea pig on our behalf.
So I think it was Jeff Wolner who said, this dumbass book of yours is kind of a memoir-esque. And I was like, yep, rock star dumbass over here. That's how I know how to avoid them in the future. Because
Here's the things that I've had to deal with. May I offer this to you for assistance, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, okay. Oh, okay. So it's like that, huh? Oh, okay. That is the best thing we can do with these repeat things that happen. I don't know why they do. Delete the need to understand. Just
delete the need to understand and just keep moving on your own path. Follow your yellow brick road. You'll get to the Emerald City.
maybe.
Maybe.
I don't freaking know.
Listen,
But I
you
tell
know
you,
what? Queen Lonnee Rey, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, I would love nothing more than for you to be the part of my entourage that storms the Emerald City and takes over. Like, let's boot that wizard out. We're done. Lonnee Rey, me and Sage the intern, we're going to bring Jeff. We're all taking over. We're going to Tonger crash the Emerald City is what we're going to do. I'm excited about it.
I love it. I can hear the stomp of red heeled shoes.
Get me some ruby slippers. I mean, who doesn't want some ruby slippers?
Right. I
already have a dog, so I got the Toto thing going already.
remember those sentries? Of course you do. The guards outside. The Oreo, whatever.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. That stomping sound, that whole thing. Well, a few years ago, I was sitting where I am talking to you right now from this spot, and this weird experience happened. It was. I know
weird
you'd be open to
experience.
that.
Yes, please, more.
It was. It came from over here. Not that matters the direction to your podcast listeners, but it came from the
it
right.
Might be information for you somehow.
What came in was like this giant wave of energy, and it was like stormtroopers in white, and it was literally like an army of stormtroopers came. I can't make this up. I don't know how.
You're in this chair that you're in. It's an energetic sort of wave that comes in. Are you having a visual sensation? Like, which of your sensory organs are experiencing what? We're third eye visual. Okay.
And man, it was auditory. It was vibe. It was this incredible wave that just came over and like went through my living room. I said, delete the need to understand, but I sure like to know what the hell that was.
Right? I mean, but the mystery of it is a little bit fun in and of itself.
It was really powerful and very impactful. I've finally gotten to a place where I can tell the story. Maybe I've forgotten some details that used to make me weep because it was so moving to have. Yeah, I've got to look that up. It's been about 5 years now, but I shared it. I wrote it down. I shared it on Facebook when I was back on there. And
oh man, you got to share that whole story and the details. Absolutely, I need to know more about this.
It was like this incredible army of good literally storming through my whole world, my psyche, like everything. It just kept on going. I was like, okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. There's that. I mean, do you ever attach that to maybe people that you met later, like the universe being like, hey, here comes all these good people coming your way. Be ready?
Not at all. It was a supernatural, etheric experience that has no connection, nothing. There's no
haven't been able to put it together with anything.
I have no idea what the heck was going on.
This was like 5 years ago, you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, just and literally could hear like the stomping, like the
That's
Wizard of Oz
super,
stomping.
super fascinating to me. I love weird experiences like that because what is that energy? And you know, the other thing that happens with some of those things is how much of what I visually see is just like my human ego self trying to use whatever frame of references it has available to explain what that is, and how
Right.
much of that is accurate to what that actually was, right?
Right. Yeah. There's
Do
no
you
way to
have a
know.
YouTube channel, Lonnee Rey?
I do. It's at Rattled Awake Books. Thanks for asking.
Hey,
Yeah.
there we go. See, find her at I'm gonna pop this up as an episode too, and I'll put I have the Rattled Awake official on there for people to click on, but we'll put all of your links so that people can go find you everywhere.
I appreciate that, especially because
Mm-hmm.
I have voiced all of my chapters, and so it's just audio. Does not belong on YouTube, but I don't care. It was where I could do it. I voiced it on. You're welcome.
No, listen, it doesn't belong on YouTube. Absolutely, it does. That's, you know, I've got some of my short stories. That's what the Abernathy Franklin stuff is started as the fictional podcast, and I've voiced the episodes. And listen, I'm not a performer by any means, certainly, and I haven't, you know, we'll practice that together. We'll get there, or find other people who want to collaborate and come in and do it with us. But
all I cared about, Han, was that I could reach more people, and if it's through auditory, you know, please go check out those chapters. Like the first one I did, This Bugs Me. I think I traumatized my readers, which is against my. I should have taken my own workshop, but I opened up with a video. There's like 30 videos in that chapter. Click, 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 click. And it opens up with Nicole Kidman being served on a silver platter, a bunch of bugs, 4 different kinds of bugs. And the chapter is called This Bugs Me. And I do go.
This bugs me.
Yeah. And then, you know, it goes into, yeah, the food thing. And the pressure cooker, how I had a standoff with the pressure canner. They didn't teach us that in culinary school.
Were you in culinary school? And what is this standoff with a pressure cooker? I need to hear this story. What happened here?
Yes, I reluctantly went to culinary school. I kept telling my dad I want to go to film and television, and he was like, "No, you're not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not paying for that. You will finish." So,
okay.
So I went to Johnson and Wales, worked my butt off. It was a good experience in that I got to be the person that I couldn't be in high school. So I was on the newspaper. I was on
You got
this.
to do a little bit of a rebrand situation, right? Doing
that
avatar upgrade.
But one thing they didn't teach us was anything. I mean, because it was all old school. Like if the electricity went out, the restaurant needs to keep functioning. So we didn't have food processors. We didn't have microwaves. We didn't have, and I'm fine with that. I don't like them either. We also didn't have any kind of pressure canners, right? There's nothing like that. So when I started, one of the rabbit holes I dove into about, you know, the food plants and the, you know, the destruction of so much of our food sources, I learned about canning for the first time, and I was scared to death it was going to blow up. I was like, if anybody's going to mess it up, it'd probably be me. I try not to program myself that way, but I'm really scared of this thing. So I had like a year-long standoff, and I would hold it at arm's length like it was going to get me, and I would move it around my apartment.
Coming after me.
It's currently under a blanket over there. Okay, like I was scared of it for a year.
Oh my! I love it.
So yeah, so what I did was I found a funny way to tell this truthful story in Rattled Awake, and then the message is to take on the thing that you're afraid of because you might win. In fact, I got so good at canning. I got cocky. I put stuff in jars that do not belong in jars. Okay, they just.
But that's why I love you. That's the kind of thing that I want people to do. Put stuff in jars that don't belong in jars and see what happens.
I did.
Just test it out.
Nothing's
blown up.
It worked out.
Listen, weird science worked out too, and I'm sure you're doing great with all your silly fun stuff. But that's, I mean, that is a parallel with a lot of things in life, right? Like you're afraid of it, you keep moving your own goalposts. I'll do it when, and you have to kind of just put your foot in there and try. You just have to go ahead and turn the pressure cooker on and see if it does explode.
Yeah, well, fortunately, it didn't.
It didn't.
I like to use a little bit more realistic, a relatable analogy, and we've all, you know, been on the street corner to, you know, it's a 5-lane highway. We want to get to the other side. We're pedestrians, right? You're a pedestrian. You want to cross the street, and you know, you want to wait till the traffic coming at you's clear.
Mhm.
And then you may have to pause because your goal is to get to the other side, right? So you may have to pause in the center lane until the traffic from the other direction slows down or clears or somebody waves you through, and they
Yeah.
will. But they wouldn't if you were still standing on the corner. So we have to have the courage to step off the curb and move toward the thing that we want. And then the people in the cars will be like, "Oh, that chick wants to go. Hey, honey, go ahead. You go ahead." No,
Oh, that's exactly what we're looking for. That, hey, honey, go ahead. I like the Frogger analogy that, you can sit there on the sidelines forever and forever, but you got to actually get out there in the road, and maybe you will get hit by a car, but maybe you won't. Maybe you will win. That's the mindset you got to have with Lonnee Rey. Maybe you won't get squished by a car. Maybe it'll be okay. I appreciate this perspective, Lonnee Rey. I really do.
I like it where you take it. Yeah, okay. I can just hear this frog not making it. That just
Well, that's another thing that I like. I do love the video game aspect of this human experience sometimes. And I don't like, this is a thing I've talked with Sage the intern about that has happened to me a number of times, talking about weird experiences. I'll go ahead and share one too.
okay,
Or
go ahead.
several, I guess. So this has happened to me on a number of occasions, that when I've been like, right, just waking up in the morning, right, kind of like as I come out of sleep, I have heard this like that ding sound, like when you start a new level in Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And like the first time it ever happened, I remember my first thought when I heard that sound as I woke up, I was like, Ready Player One, you're back into this human avatar again. Are we ready for another day of this? Like,
Oh, wow.
but there was one time that it happened while I was mowing the lawn. Like, so it wasn't while I was waking, like it was in the middle of me doing something when I heard that sound again. And I was like, did I just hit a checkpoint? What is that? What's that for? Why'd we do that? And I still don't know, but it is a thing that happens on occasion. And also, Super Mario Brothers music lives rent free in my head as well. So there is that to add, that there's that information to add to the context.
Oh God, I was a brand ambassador, which is why I politely call myself a promo hoe from a long time ago, yo. Because
But I love that.
yeah. Well, I am. I still, got built-in pom-poms. Go, man, go.
Mm-hmm.
But this was this right. This was us every weekend looking at a list of options of gigs, and this was a long-term gig instead of just a weekend job. And they brought me on because Tiger Woods Golf had just come out.
Okay, yeah.
And it was right around Christmas time, and they wanted to sell this. So I was the token older person, the mature one. I've never even I never ever played any of them.
Not video game, anything.
Not anything.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Miss Pac-Man, and I sucked at that. So because I can't
Well, it's
have
not about being. Listen, I'm not good at any of it either, but I play anyway.
well, having having the screen up here and the thing down here and trying to translate that's like advanced math, and I just don't do that.
And I don't do that's all right. Not everybody does.
So our job was to stand at this kiosk of games and engage the grandparents. Really, that's why they had me there. I was like, listen, if I can figure it out, you can too, and then you could do it with your grandkids. It's going to be a great gift idea. And we
Okay,
sold the hell out of these games.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, and I do like that sort of different approach. I mean, obviously, that is that marketing sort of thing, bring people in and convince them. But I mean, at least for the sake of quality time with family.
But at night, that Mario Brothers sound, it wouldn't let me sleep. I was like, I can't stand it. I can't stand this.
This would it would just like float in your brain.
If you do that kind of job for 5 hours a day for 3 months, it's like, just shoot me.
It's a bit like Christmas music playing in in every store that you go into from before Thanksgiving till, oh God, I get that, stop already. Yeah. Just stop with it.
Yeah, the Christmas music
Oh,
is
I'm
is
sorry.
behind you, and we've got the Mario Brothers and all the.
So
Oh,
you had a mix of all the annoying stuff. Okay,
oh my
I
God,
see.
all the annoying sounds all at once.
That's not a good
But I got
cocktail.
paid well for it, so
Well, there you go. And you got your promo ho from back in the day, yo line out of it. And so there was some silver lining you can take from it.
yeah. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the silver lining from the little kid that got traumatized when I was the milk on the Oreo cookie tour. I was standing on a ball field. So
What?
this was
When I
yes,
was the milk on the Oreo cookie tour, I love this. Lonnee Rey
yes.
was the milk. Tell me this. Tell me this.
Yeah, it was the best costume I ever had to wear because the other ones claustrophobia would set in and it was
Oh,
awful. But this was
sure.
milk, and it was this thing that slipped over and sat on our shoulders,
Okay.
and there was a lot of air at the bottom. It was a carton, milk carton,
Right.
and we were on baseball fields everywhere. And this little 4-year-old, yeah, I got on his hands and knees and crawled up under it and looked up and said, "Mommy, there's a lady in there." I was like, "Go away, kid." He's like, "Mommy, milk yelled at me."
There's a lady in there. Milk yelled at me. Oh, and that kid was lactose intolerant for the rest of his life. I love that. That's a great story. That's
Yeah.
You have just had such an adventure of a life, Lonnee Rey. I think we need to have more of these little just episodes, just little forays into the life of Lonnee Rey and these little stories when you got to be milk and you got to traumatize a 4-year-old. That's fantastic.
I did. You should. I had to overcome the claustrophobia. This is the first time I did a character, and I was probably Snap of Snap Crackle Pop. I've blocked it out, but yeah,
I've blocked it out.
I didn't know how bad I was claustrophobic, and they put that costume head on me, and then they put the collar around, and then they put the gloves on that go up to here, and the
Yeah.
mittens, and you cannot get out. You can't. And
Yeah.
I
You need it.
freaked out. I'm like, "Get it
Well,
off me, get it off me, get it off me." And they're like, "You have to do this. You're the only one tall enough here to do this.
you're
You
the
need to
only.
calm down and ante up."
Oh, well, so I could have got out of that gig by being like, I'm too short anyway. Forget it. Let's get out of here.
I was just like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
Well, but that
Well,
makes sense though. It's that you can't get away without help sort of thing, right? And when
oh
you're
God.
a hyper independent person, that's a terrifying thing.
Yeah, well, I have a sad story behind the claustrophobia, but we'll maybe do another day. The
No,
point of
okay, don't worry about it. We've all got a little bit of something like that, right?
we don't want to talk
No.
about that. No.
Okay, well, another time.
Yeah, another time. So it ended up good. I had to do it. I was peer pressured and strong armed into it by my associates.
You were voluntold, right?
By the end of the day, yeah, I was voluntold. I was sleeping in this costume with this big freaking Rice Krispie character head on the side of a wall, just sleeping in this thing.
See, you found the silver lining. You used it as a pillow. You got to take a nice nap. So you did find your silver lining in it. Good for you.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna do it, you might as well have fun, right? I just had to get over I need help to get out of this thing.
No, if you're gonna do it, you may as well have fun. That's another t-shirt right there. And that's a lovely motto to have, I think.
If you're not having fun, what are you doing, right? That's what I say.
What are you doing? If you can't make it fun, what's the point? I agree with that. And that's, again, definitely a space I am trying to embody a lot more in my life. Like, is there a way we can make it fun? Can we just make it more fun? And then it'll be okay.
On that note.
Buffering. Got so excited. We're buffering.
That's what.
Don't worry. It's okay. That's the thing that happens to me too. Sometimes you just have that little glitch that occurs. Don't worry about it.
It's buffering. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's
Don't
what that
worry
was.
about it. I'm a little broken AI robot some days too. It's okay. I vibe with that a lot.
So, I'm glad you can understand.
I do. Don't worry.
On this happy note, what I found is, and I think I got to give credit to Tony Robbins because he was instrumental in helping me change my life, whether he knew it or not. It was that long ago. It was a cassette tape.
Well, but again, the entire point of putting your stuff out there because you never know when somebody's going to find your message being the one that they needed.
Right. And I found this cassette tape in the basement of very strange circumstances, which we can cover another time, how I ended up there.
But I
And
love those kinds of things as well, you know.
oh my God. How much time do we have? Anyway,
it's all right. Guess what? Yeah, like I wasn't going to rope you into another podcast at some point. Like, you can't get away from me that easily, Lonnee Rey.
Okay, cool. We'll save that story. The bottom line is that Tony Robbins teaches, ask the question you want the answer to. And so I twisted a couple things around word nerd. That's what we do. And and I said, okay, here's the question to ask. And you don't have to work on it. When you ask it, it implies it's possible. And I promise you it works. And that is to simply ask, how can I have more fun today than I ever thought possible? Ask it, let it go. Don't, what can I do? No, I promise you, but at the end of the day, if you remember to look back on the day, you'll be like, well, holy crap, that worked out, didn't it? It was more fun than I ever thought possible. And it works.
Well, and sometimes it's the intention setting thing, right? And that's all you have to do is set the intention and then just, allow yourself to follow that intention and trust yourself that you have the ability to do it, right? And that's where I think that's where I know I stumble personally, is like, trust yourself that you can follow that thread, that you do have the capacity to follow that thread, right? And
well, yeah, but you got to understand, there was a time when I thought happy people were faking it. Like I was really, really, really dark, and I did not understand happy. I didn't understand it at all. I didn't know it. I wasn't it. I was, people always said smile, and I was like, tell me a joke, like
yeah, give me a reason. Like, if I don't have a reason to, you can bugger off.
Yeah, leave me alone. You can see I'm miserable. Off.
Yeah, anyway. Right. No, I'm with you. That's again. We resonate together well because I've been there, and I'm sure a lot of people out there resonate with that same thing, that you've been in that space where, yeah, you didn't quite understand what happy was supposed to look like. Because is that a real thing?
Yeah, is that a thing? And decades of waiting for the other shoe to drop. So I never imagined that, but I did. I have to say, the goal was someday, somehow, I can, and stay focused on the what, and the how will make itself known. That's another one of my one-liners, right?
But it's absolutely correct. You are correct, miss.
Correct.
You are. Yeah.
Point number 2.
That's 10 points to Gryffindor for you.
And
although I'm going to say you're probably in Hufflepuff with me. Don't worry, it's a good place to be.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm glad.
Good.
I said someday, please make it possible that I just want one person, some way, somehow, to call me happy-go-lucky someday, because that meant carefree. That meant I was a freed spirit.
Yeah.
It was all I wanted, and it happened. That is the most unlikely turnaround that nobody can imagine. I mean, I was Debbie Downer. And, and I haven't exactly been Sister Mary Sunshine through the last 5 years with all this,
Sunshine.
digging into rabbit holes. But we, when we have the skills to process it, to transmute what we're running across and going, oh, okay, it's like that, huh? Okay. Action Jackson. Action alleviates anxiety. That's why Rattled Awake matters so much, because you can take some action on something that you're passionate about and share your legacy message with the world. And at least you can, say, I did it. I didn't die without doing it. Like Wayne Dyer says, don't die with the music still in you. So
I love that message. I really do, because it's not about the perfection of it. It's not about one of the things I like to say is there's such a thing as good enough in this world, right? Like, it doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you're not going to start that way. Just get it out there. Just do it. Just do something. Just take that first step and try. And even if it doesn't go where you think it's supposed to, or where you think it was going to go, you do learn something along the way, and you do get to a place that's better than where you were, because you made that first jump across the road, Frogger, and, decided to brave traffic and see what would happen.
Here's perspective for you.
And I love that.
I know you will. You'll like this one. We've already overcome the greatest odds. This comes from chiropractic. That's also my background. And we used to tell our patients, and
So
that's because
many
somebody
hats.
told me, right? Yeah, true.
Beautiful.
um, it takes a baby. They fall 500 times, an average of 500 times before they take their real first step. That's a lot of bumping on your butt. That's a lot of still wanting to get up. Can you imagine if we didn't have that role model and we all still crawled around because we kept bumping, 20 times? That's it. I'm done. I ain't trying no more. No
I
more.
give up.
500 falls before a baby takes his first step. That's like, oh, that is huge. We're not meant to stand up. That we can balance, and we figured it out. People are like, oh, you were meant to. You got feet. You know what? That didn't come natural, did it?
No, you had to learn. But the natural bit was the sticking to it until you figured it out. That's the more natural bit. The keeping on trying. The keeping evolving.
We had encouragement because how many times the baby goes kablunk and sits there and cries.
Yeah.
And cries and cries. And they just keep it. Look, we've all overcome that. I'm glad we don't remember it, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. There's some part of us that remembers it a little bit, according to some people, right? If you again, depending on the perspective you want to chase after, but
well,
it speaks a lot to the natural resilience of humans too, doesn't it? And again, the idea of support and community, and that when you do have support and encouragement, you can fall down many, many times and continue to get back up again. And that's why it is valuable and important to have that community that you build for yourself if it didn't already exist. Which is why it's so beautiful, Lonnee Rey, that you have your Rattled Awake series and that you're bringing so many people into your community. I do love that. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so glad that we've met, because I can't wait for all the things we're going to party hardy and make together. It's going to be a good time.
I know. And it's all because of your wacky self that you were out there. And I was like, this girl is the sharpest knife in the drawer, said the butter knife. And I like her style. And
let me tell you what, you got to have butter knives too, because I love crab legs and you can't have those without butter. So, listen, don't ever sell yourself short. Butter knife.
Yeah.
Lonnee Rey, listen, thank you so much for being here with me. This has been a groovy, great time, as it always is, hanging out with you. Tell folks before we go where to come find you. I will share this out later, audio and on the YouTubes and everything, and put your links, but let people know where to come find you.
Yeah, please do. Guys, come on over to officialrattledawake.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn mostly. There's only one Lonnee, LONNEE, and at Rattled Awake Books on YouTube, where you can hear the chapters that I voice that matter so much. I hope that you'll share those. That would matter a lot to me. Say it forward, people. Say it forward.
Say it forward. I love that. And so many of your you need just a book of one-liners. Lonnee one-liners. That's a book that you need to put together.
Yeah.
Because I would carry it around and just pop it open and know that I would land on the right one as I need it.
I might do that. When I was little, Hugh Prather wrote a book. A little white book was on my mom's headboard. And this is probably what inspired it all. And it was called Notes to Myself. And it literally had one-liners, one. And I was like, can you do a book like this? Apparently you can. This is cool. Notes to Myself. Okay. Look, I remember it. I was 6 when I last saw it. So
but I'm like that too. And it's so fun when you get to spot those little Easter eggs you left for yourself along the way to say, hey, this is a thing you'd like to do. Maybe you should go do that. And it's fun when you get to a point in your life when you can look back at those and say, oh yeah, I did tell myself that. That's right.
What calls to you is for you.
What calls to you is for you. This is true. I love it. Lonnee Rey, thank you for being here. So much love to you.
Thank you for having me, honey. It's been a blast.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And join us again for another one next time.
Say it forward.
Say it forward. Peace out.